Hello, welcome back. We are now moving into Unit 5 of the Management Information System, right? Unit 5 of the earlier we have covered Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, and now we are covering Unit 5 of the Management Information System, right? Now we will be covering the various types of MIS that are applicable in reality. That means what are the various types that organizations are using these MIS system. So one is transaction processing system. So as we know that transaction means the movement of the data from one point to another point. For example, when we buy something from the market and make payment, we are transacting. Why we say we are transacting? It means that data, that is the money, is moved from the bank to the banking system of the shopkeeper. So money has transacted, and basically transaction processing system are most of the time they are widely monitored, because most of the problems occur in transaction, and in daily life also we have witnessed this transaction processing system. There are several problems pertaining to transaction. For example, we have made say UPI payment and it is received or not received. A person may have deleted the file, or he may have done something with it. So all those things are there, and that is what transaction processing system is there. So just to keep a balance, a check, and all those things, we make use of the transaction processing system. So transaction processing system, what exactly are they and what we are doing? So we will be covering on transaction processing system. Means they process transactions and produces report. It is just like a bank statement or transaction history that we see in our UPI payment, maybe Google Pay, maybe this Paytm, or maybe whatever we are doing it. So we take care of that thing, right? So that is what transaction processing system is all about. It produces report. That means it generates a report, what is happening, what is not happening, and where the payment has failed or there has been excess payment, or that means it just shows the movement of the payment. It's not only related to the payment, it can be anything, right? But generally when we talk about transaction, we mean the payment. It represents the automation of fundamental routine processing used to support business operations. So this transaction processing system is an automated system generally, because nowadays with the computerization in practice, it represents the automation. That means things are now automated. Fundamental processes, routine processing means day to day processing. That means what exactly they are going to be doing. These are all routine processing used to support business operations. That means business operations in the sense that what the business does for its survival in the market, right? It does not provide any information to the user to his or her decision making. This means that it just gives you the status whether the payment has been made or not made, and on what date the payment was made, and sometimes it includes the time also. But other apart from this, it does not do anything else in terms of decision making. We only have yes or no sort of a thing that is there. Transaction processing system use data and produce data, right? They use data. That means how much money was transferred from which bank, from which branch, how it was transferred, that is whether the payment has been made in cash or it has been made through UPI payment or through check or whatever it is. So all those things that is there, right? It uses data and produces data. Produces data means it generates more information for the people, right? Previously TPS was known as management industry. So this is something new. Transaction processing system earlier was known as management information system, right? And why it is known as management information system? This is because it provides the details of the transaction, from which account to which account, the date, the time, the type of the transaction. Again I am repeating, whether it is a cash transaction or it is a UPI transaction or it is a check transaction or it is a credit card transaction. All that information was there, right? All that information was there, right? So MIS was there and it provides information. Only this much information was provided, so that management can keep a record that this amount of money was there and what had happened to which account it is. Prior to computers, data processing was performed manually or with simple machine. Then again, this is something that is in when computers were not very popular, or in fact they have not come into the operations. As you know, computer industry came around the year 1985-86, and from then onward, prior to that, everything was done in a manual fashion. We have passbook entries, we have ledgers, we have ledger folios, we have journals. All this was manual, and in addition to it being manual, it was very difficult also, because when you move to manual or operating in manual mode, what generally happens is you are not, first is you are taking too much time, second is there are possibility of errors, third is the problem of legibility, because legibility means that you are unable to decide what this writing is. You cannot read the writing up, right? You cannot read the writing. A zero may represent an O or something like that, so it's very difficult. And besides that, the handwriting played a crucial role. Updation was very difficult. The reason for updation being difficult, if a single mistake is made, then it will be very difficult to update that in the sense that we have to rewrite again. We cannot override. We have to prepare the page again and again. So that is why data processing, as you know, you have a set of inputs, you do something to that inputs, and based on that you generate the output, right? And that was done by simple machine, which can be a calculator or some other sort of a machine. The domain of TPS is at the lowest level of the management hierarchy of an organization. What is mean by the domain? That by the term domain, it is meant that the transaction processing system is operating at a very basic level, because it is not generating any information. That means you cannot take a decision. You have the data on as is basis that money moved from this account to this account. That's it. That is the static data. That means you cannot do anything except it serves as a record processing thing, right? And management hierarchy means how the management hierarchy of an organization is doing at that level, right? Then we have decision support system. So this now we discuss this transaction processing system. Next to transaction processing system, we have decision support system. Here you see there are three words. One is decision, one is support, one is system. System we already know, it is a structured way. System is we already know it. Sorry, it is a structured way, right? It is a structured way of taking an input, doing something to the input, and then we are producing the output. So that is the system. Support means the information that helps you in getting that decision we mean that we have several alternatives, and based on those alternatives, right, we have to choose one aspect. That is what decision is all about. So decision support system means these are management information systems which help you to choose one alternative from among several alternatives which are complex, cumbersome, and which involve very large amount of complexities, right? The more the complexities are involved, the more decisions taking time is there, and more it is taking the processing time. Then decision support system is an information system application. Application means that we have a software which has several other functions as well. So it is an information system. That means you have a data, you have that data is processed, and based on that result what you want, that particular software will generate that information. That means that application will be able to perform so many things, right? And that helps you in making decisions. For example, if I look at this, for example, take a app of a, say, banking system, right? So in an app you have, it is an application. App means application. There are several alternatives, there are several type of information. You want to see the interest rate, you want to see where your check is standing or where that money is, what are the NEFT transactions you have paid. So that will help you in making that decision. DSS tends to be used in planning, analyzing, alternate trial and error, and search for the. So decision support system is used in planning. Planning means whenever you are launching a great product or some sort of an initiative, maybe some new product, right? And then you have to plan a lot, and not only you have to plan, you have to analyze. You have to analyze various alternatives, various complexities, and it is based on trial and error method. Trial and error method means that you have to do many of the hits and run, right, to reach to the solution, which means that if I choose this option, what will happen? If I choose this option, what will happen? If I choose that option, what will happen? So that is what this trial and error is all about. Let us take an example of trial and error. Supposing you have to go right. Let us take an example, right? Let us take an example, and where we use trial and. Supposing you have to go to your office from your home, and there are several options. You have cab, you have e-rickshaw, you have metro, you have public bus, you have several type of options are available. So there you adopt trial, and if I go by auto I will be late by so many minutes. If I go by metro I have to take another mode of conveyance. If I do this, that these things will be taken into these things, right? So all these are trial and error. The elements of decision support include database, model base, and soft. So these are the component, the basic component, the configuration of DSS, which is a database. A database is something where we store the data. Remember that MIS functions on data only, right? MIS functions on data only, and that common data where we store the central server, that is what we known as a database. So it is again a set of software function. It is a software. A database is a software which is specially designed or constructing for storing the database. Model base, that means you model the data. Model the data means you define the structure of the data which you are using, right? You define the structure of the data which you are using. That is what we mean by model base. And the software, that means a software which integrates all of those things, right? And differences can be differentiated. Now here comes how you can differentiate. The one point that is left. The main application areas of DSS are production, finance, and marketing. So DSS is widely used on production of and operations, finance, and marketing. So production and operation, as you know, is the manufacturing part. That means how the things are being done in that manner. Finance and marketing. So finance means how the financial things are there and how they are taken care of. MIS processes the data. MIS processes the data to convert it into information, right? All of the data which is there, it is used to process the information, right? Information is on the basis of data we take decision. So information is processed data, we take decision, and we convert it back into info. Convert it back means unless we have an information we cannot take decision. So once when we have an information, we use it to support decision making processes of a manager, right? So that was with decision support system, right? So we have covered transaction processing. Now we are covering decision support system, and now we move to executive information. But first, who is an executive? Any idea? Any wild guess? An executive is a person who is entrusted with the task of leading the organization into different aspects. Means that who is the leader to ensure that organization is running efficiently. It is generally the top management is known as executive management. For example, chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief technological officer, all these are executive. The reason why they are known as executives is the fact that they are required to take decisions which is going to hamper or going to prosper both things the organize. That means their decisions are directed towards different aspects, towards survival, towards growth of the business, towards new ventures, new product launch. They are not interested in day-to-day operation, rather than they are interested in the market analysis, the competitor analysis, how the government is coming out with new tax system, new base, and other things, because it will ultimately hamper or impact the business which they are running. So they need different kind of an information. So that is why executive information system, or EIS, is capable of doing it. So EIS is an extension of management which special kind of DSA. Again, so it is linked. Decision support system are those systems which help the persons to take decision. That means they support them in taking decision, whereas EIS is an extension. That means this layer is above DSA because they are applicable to the top management. Their decision is different, so naturally it is linked to the DSA because they need some information to assess their own SWOT analysis. SWOT, as we discovered yesterday also, it stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So strength means whatever the strengths are there, what are the weaknesses are there, what are the opportunities for that, means their decision will going to impact the organization greatly. If the decision is correct, the organization will prosper. If the decision is not correct, it will not prosper, rather that it will go down, and in the ultimate circumstances it may be wiped out of the world. And ESS is especially tailored for chief executive support is decisive. That's what I have said it before also. And executive in support system, ESS or EIS, right, is used to provide information to chief executive officer, chief managing director, chief technological officer, chief marketing officer, because they need information pertaining to the business, that pertaining to the organization in terms of competitiveness, in terms of government policies, in terms of happenings at the global world. They use that kind. It includes various type of decision making, but it is more specific and person oriented. What does it mean? That means it involves a different kind of decision making, and the information they provide is very specific and person oriented. Person oriented means what is the designation of the person, right? For example, chief marketing officer will need information only pertaining to the marketing activities that are going on in the world or across the industry. Chief technological officer, we need information what techniques, what new has come, what new technology is coming in the market, and how best that technology can be capitalized to generate results, right? In a similar manner, we have chief digital officer. So chief digital officer is using those things which are used for adoption of digital technology. So he needs information which are digital in nature and how those digital things can come into the handy part for running the information, for running the organization, right? So you can see it is more specific and person oriented. Let us take an example of more specific and person oriented. Take the case of WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp, we are all familiar with it. So the role of chief digital officer is, can WhatsApp be used for marketing purposes, or what security measures can be implemented in WhatsApp so that our staff members can use WhatsApp for official messaging system. So this is the kind of information which chief digital officer will want. Similarly, in the case of chief strategic officer, CSO, or chief information officer, that means what exactly are the information needs of an organization, how best can be utilized, what can be done, and so many things are there. So that is what those things are there. right? So now we move on to expert, you know, is a person who is more knowledgeable in his area. So similarly, we have an expert system. An MIS system can function as an expert system, right? Expert system main type of knowledge based information system. The knowledge based information system means these systems are applicable to a wide section of information or wide section of knowledge which is stored in the database. For example, recent case of knowledge based system is the chat GPT. You write something, it will search the database, that means it will gather knowledge and then it will try to provide exactly what you are looking for. It is providing you the knowledge, not the information, because it has already processed the information which is available in the database, and then based on what you have written, it is providing you the knowledge needed to get your work done. Right? That is what knowledge based system is all about. So chat GPT, they are examples of knowledge based system. Other things also, the knowledge based system is you have systems which guide you. If you can choose this will happen. If you can choose this will happen. So these are all examples of knowledge based system. These systems are based on artificial intelligence and are advanced information. So artificial intelligence is something where machine is programmed to carry out the instructions given by the human being. For example, Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, these are all examples of artificial intelligence. They function on the basis of the instructions given by the mankind, right? Given by human being. For example, if you say Alexa, sorry, for example, if you say Alexa, create a playlist, Alexa will create a playlist. Or even if you ask question from Alexa, it will serve the database, the knowledge base, and come out with the process for creating a playlist. And it will ask, shall I create a playlist for you? What name you would like to keep it for the playlist? What are the songs you want to enter into that playlist? And so many things are there. That is what the purpose of artificial intelligence, right? And they are advanced information. Why they are advanced? Because lot of information, many information are there. That is what a business expert system is. A knowledge base that uses its knowledge about a specific complex to act as an expert. So that means that again it is defining what is a business expert system. The business expert system is a knowledge based system. Knowledge based system means there you don't have data, you have information. Information is what? Processed data. And processed information is a knowledge about a specific complex application area to act as an expert, right? For example, a good example of a knowledge based system is the experiences which are captured at the end of project, say maybe an IT project or at the end of a marketing project, wherein the project manager is required to document the experiences, right? The main components of expert system are knowledge base, interface engine, and a user interface. Interface, let me explain what exactly is an interface. An interface is something which acts as a a link between two different things. It is just like a bridge. We see bridge on a river. What is it doing? It is linking two different parts of the land through a common medium. right? Through a common medium we are using it, so that is an interface. So we have an user interface where a user interacts with the system. We have an interface engine, that is how things are being processed. We have a knowledge base, that means how knowledge is being utilized. So that is what the components of interface expert systems are there. So let us take an assignment. This is sort of an exercise or an assignment, or just bringing out the clarity. It says that imagine that you are the examination in charge of college or university. You are required to conduct university examination for the current semester. Identify the information you will need to conduct the information examination. See what you have to do. You have been appointed as an examination in charge, right? And you have to conduct the information. So first you have to identify what data or what information you need. Possible answers can be the number of students, right? The number of students per program per semester. That is, say if you are targeting BCA, so BCA which semesters, maybe first semester how many students are going to appear in the examination, how many of the students in the second year of the examination system of BCA, how many of them are in the third year of the BCA, similarly for other courses that are being. So once you have this data, then you need to determine what are the electives, they have chosen, because you have to segregate students on the basis of their elective. You have to segregate students on the basis of their back paper. Supposing 10 students have their back paper in one of the earlier semesters, so you have to accommodate those things. You need to have knowledge, right? So once you have all this kind of data, then the next question is number of classrooms in your institute and number of seats within a classroom, right? If a classroom has 30 seats, so you can accommodate 30 persons only, but then 30 students will be accommodated, but they must be from different classes or different semester, otherwise there would be cheating and other things. That means you have to prepare a seating plan and you have to see that they are doing. So once the number of classes, the number of seats per classes are there, then you have to see the number of invigilators or faculties who would be conducting the examination, right? Who would be conducting the examination. That means number of invigilators are there. So it might be possible you may not have requisite number of invigilators based on the number of seats per class. A class may have 60 students. For that you require 2 invigilators, whereas a room having the seating capacity of 20 students and single invigilator can do. So you need to have all this kind of the data, and you can do the things which are there, right? So once these things are there, then you have to see the timings of the exam. If it is a university exam, then you have to see the timing and whether all those classrooms are available. If it is internal, you have to schedule the exam in different time slots if the number of the students are large, and the duration of the exam, it may be 2 hours duration, it may be 3 hours duration. So those things you need to tackle, right? You need to have all those things. So once you are done with it, the next question is number of question papers to be printed. Because it is an internal exam, question papers will be printed internally. Internally means that what you are doing nowadays, you have to print those question papers, right? You have to print those question papers, right? And once these question papers are printed, you have to see where they are required to be stored. That is very very important. They are required to be stored, whether it is in cupboard or some secret locker or what exactly it is there, right? So these are some of the suggestions, and right. Then this is a quiz on MIS. Which of the following is not used by MIS? Technology, processes, people, decision making, policy formulation. Right? It is policy formulation which is not used. Decision making is used in the MIS. People also use it. Correct answer is decision making, not used by. MIS system are not designed to control, analyze. What is the answer? Yes. Correct answer is A and D. Right? Then again, this strategy utilizes information. Yes. There's not private testing railways. No, all of them use this. Right? Which of the following for MI increase in competition? Closing down the retail store operation, car mechanic, battery. Correct answer is A, B, and C. A batsman playing on the cricket field does not require MIS because that is a totally different. Only thing MIS can be used when you are selecting that player. Right? When you are selecting that player, you are increasing investment in information, increasing competition, closing down the retail store due to losses in manual operation, car mechanic using automated tools, batsman playing on the cricket field. So all these answers are correct. Which of the following is not the objective of MIS? Data generation, generation of information, retrieval. Correct answer is data generation. From which of the not the objective? See why it is not an objective? Because objective is to help in decision making, not to generate data. It works on the data which is already generated. Right? Which of the following is not function of MIS? The correct answer is conduct of SWOT analysis, conduct of pest analysis. Pest analysis is something related to SWOT analysis. It is political, environmental, social, and threat analysis. Right? That is what pest analysis. Conduct of meeting on the function of MIS. Conduct of various programs in a cultural event organized by the college or company. Which of the following does not use MIS? Failing in graduate exam system, failing to read the mood of the boss, failing. So this is all correct answer is none of the above. Right? Question number: MIS is greatly impacted by technology which is being used to manage the system, people in the organization, the type of the organization, processes used. Correct answer is all of them. Right? Uses executive, all of them. Salman Khan also uses executive because he has his own company, he has his own business, so he uses all that. In which area MIS has field managing the effects of global changes, space exploration, predictions related to earthquake, preventive action related to managing the effects of global changes. You cannot prevent. MIS completely fail. Space exploration, everyday changes are happening. Then prediction of earthquake, then real disaster. Must be precise, accurate, timely, and ambiguous. So that means the kind of the information which you have, right? correct answer is A, B and C. Right? When dealing with the information must be precise, accurate and example of external data, performance reports of particular A, B and D. Right? The characterized report inform process based systematic approach. Right? So clear? So we stop over here and then let us see any questions or doubts. If you have, you can always